Hey everybody, Roxabox90 here with Day 8 of Khans of Tarkir spoilers, and yes! We have Surrak Dragonclaw today, and man am I excited because we got a bunch of great stuff, and we're gonna get to him very shortly, but we got so many other cool cards I want to look at too, so let's hop in first with Grim Harrisplex. What a name, but the art is really creepy. 3 for a 3/2 with a morph cost of 1. Wow. Human wizard, whenever another non-token creature you control dies, draw a card. Wow, wow, wow. This card is a house. We just had a card like this in Avacyn Restored, which it was, I forget the name of it. It was 6 for something that also when a non-token creature died, then you draw a card. But this is half the cost, and it works so well in aggressive builds. I can definitely see mono black aggro loving this card to death. And in Commander, it's a super cheap variant that can be morphed as a response to some sort of annoying, kill spell or multi-kill spell. Boom, you flip this guy up. Huge deal. And it's going to be very dangerous for players playing against aggressive mono black decks or aggressive decks in general because of the threat of this morphing up for so cheap. It's fantastic card. Then I missed Adamant Negation. I know it's a couple days old and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. Basically, it's a super powerful negate, and I think in the upcoming format, it shouldn't be that hard for decks to work with it. I like it a lot. It's quite strong, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. Then we have Master of Pearls, 2 for a 2/2 with morph of 5. When it's turn face up, creatures go to 2/2 until end of turn. A lot of people don't like this card. I think it's way more deceptive. Besides, the art being very weird, but the card itself is pretty strong. Instant speed, pumping a whole army, and limited alone, this card is a house. And I think in certain control token builds, this card definitely has some strong potential for finishing off games. Very powerful card, almost underrated in the fact because the morph seems to be so high. But remember, morph is like instant speed. You flip it up, and even if someone's going to kill it, in response you can flip it up. So yeah, seems pretty good. Bear's Companion, 2, a green, a blue, and a red for a 2/2 human warrior that makes a 4/4 bear. We found the 4/4 bear maker, and it's pretty cool. I like the design. I don't like that it's 3 colors. It makes no sense because all it's doing is putting a 2/2 body into play and another 4/4 green bear. There's nothing blue or red about this card in the least. It doesn't fit anything. Yes, I understand it's supposed to be a teamwork card, but come on. This could easily have been 3 and 2 green or 2 and 3 green even for the style of the card. It just makes no sense for, makes sense flavor-wise for the guild, but not for the colors. Kind of awkward. Then we have a Chinese, it looks like, card. So let's hop over and see what that card is. Yes, the card is 1 for a 2/1 creature with raid of 2. 2, return it to the battlefield if raid happened this turn. And you could activate the ability when a creature attacks, if a creature attacked this turn. So in other words, it's 1 for a 2/1 aggressor with no drawback, and you could put it back into play over and over again for 2 mana if you've attacked. That seems like a huge powerhouse for, again, mono black aggro, or even black something aggro, black red aggro, whatever. Really strong card. It's like they don't want mono black to have any problems. It's like, well, we're gonna rotate. Guess what? It's still going to be insane. So now we'll have mono black devotion possibly, and also have a mono black aggro. Wow. So 2 huge cards for that we have today. Then we have Hooting Mandrills, 6 for a 4/4 delve and trample. Seems good for limited. I mean, you'll probably be able to play it most likely as a 4 for a 4/4 trample or 5 for a 4/4 trample. Seems fine. Sidisi's Pet, 3 and a black for a 1/4 lifelink with morph 2. Again, the lifelink makes it seem okay. I mean, the 4, we'll have to see all the cards in the set if the 4 toughness is going to be a make or break in limited. If it does, it's going to be quite strong. Otherwise, it's just a fine common. Secret Plans, spoiling good art or wasting good art on a card that has a cool name, but sadly not such a cool ability. 2 face down creatures you control O+1. Whenever a permanent you control is turn face up, you draw a card. Okay, it seems a bit, why does it 0+1? I don't understand. It's green and blue. So the blue ability I understand. The green ability I don't. That's a white ability. White is always giving O+ toughness. Green almost never does that. Why can't it just be an Anthem? Since it's multicolored, it's going to be hard enough to play as is. I don't know. It seems like it could be a better card for what it is. Vormacht, let's just skip to Jeskai Ascendancy. Yeah, 3 for an enchantment. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, creatures control 1/1 and untap those creatures. Okay, so we're going to put the Flying Crane technique into the Flying Crane group, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Seems pretty decent. It works well, I think, with Jeskai abilities. I'm sure that'll be where it mostly works. I don't know what kind of decks this card will function in so well, because I mean, its ability seems really strong, but I don't know what kind of decks this card would work with. Then we have Villainous Wealth, otherwise known as Reverse Genesis Wave. X, green, black, and a blue. Target opponent exiles the top X cards of the library, and you may cast any number of non-land cards with converted mana cost X or less from among that pile without their mana costs. Oh my gosh. Not only is it just amazing flavor and amazing art, but for Commander, this card is obnoxiously good, because Genesis Wave is a huge card in the format. This card, it's like you do it to your opponent, so not only do you exile their cards, but then you can play any of them that cost less than X. So if you do this for 12 or 13, not unheard of in Commander, definitely not, then you basically get to play every single non-land card. And Genesis Wave only does permanents. This does any non-land card. It does. I mean, that's so ridiculous. I can't even. Foil for Commander, guys. Get it while you can. Treasure Cruise, 8 mana for Delve, draw 3 cards. Okay, it's one of those, you know, I mean, you'll never be able to get it to a functional range. You'll have to you have to get rid of 4 cards to make it to make it a concentrate, which is an okay, fine card, which is ridiculous. So it's not very good. Disdainful Stroke, 2 to counter any spell with command cost 4 or greater. Seems quite good as a form of removal, especially in the format where we're going to have, I mean, it basically deals with all the major bombs, whether they're non-creature or creature. Very good for limited. Grim Haruspex, we talked about already. Savage Punch! Boom! Take that. Bear Punch. 2 for a sorcery. Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. Makes sense. We knew that was coming. Ferocious, it gets 2/2 until end of turn before it fights. If you control power. That seems pretty good. I mean, it's 2/2 and fight a creature for 2. Huge card in limited. This is going to be probably one of the best green removal, if not the best green removal in limited. And I kind of wish it was a little more epic than it is, but maybe that's just expectations of a dude punching a bear in the face. We're going to get to Surrak last. Goblin Slides, 3 for an enchantment. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may pay 1. If you do, put a 1/1 goblin with haste. Alright, it seems fine, but most of the time if you're playing a lot of non-creature spells, then you're not playing aggro, which is what? I mean, I know it's for Jeskai, that's the concept, but it just seems a little backwards. I mean, I understand the idea of, you know, kind of having a storm deck. We've seen this before, storm deck, empty the Warrens kind of concept, but it just doesn't make sense, even though it's goblins like snowflakes are only dangerous numbers. That's a great line. Quiet Contemplation, 2 and a blue for an enchantment. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may pay 1. If you do, tap target creature an opponent controls, and it doesn't untap. That can seem really annoying long term. I'm sure in limited this card will be useful, but otherwise I don't really see it. I don't really see it so much. Maybe in Commander, I guess. Surrak Dragonclaw, 2 a green, a blue, and a red for a 6/6 flash. Can't be countered. Creature spells you control can't be countered. Other creatures you control have trample. Wow, okay, that's just a lot. That reminds me of that Leviathan we got, where you just paste a lot of abilities on a guy. I kind of wish he was a little more stylized, especially if, maybe it's just me, but I kind of wish he worked more with Ferocious, besides the fact that he's a 6/6. I get that his abilities all connect with your other huge creatures. That makes sense, and he's a good leader, so he leads them all in these ways to make them even more terrifying. But I don't know, am I just slightly disappointed in the fact that he doesn't have a direct connection with Ferocious? I kind of wish he did. I mean, he's huge bomb, being able to flash him in, can't be countered. Creature control can't be countered, which is also fantastic, especially in Commander, but in, you know, probably very good in other formats as well. And gives everything else trample, so he doesn't have any form of evasion, which is I mean, it probably would be broken. 5 for a 6/6 with evasion, and these abilities would probably be broken. But he makes your army really powerful. He makes your creatures can't be countered, he can't be countered, and flash. Huge house unlimited, definitely constructed playable as and top of a curve craziness. Very, very strong creature. We'll have to see if he makes it to constructed though. But I do think he has a viability there. Commander, I think he'll be a lot of fun in creature heavy decks. I think he gives an alternative. Usually Naya is the creature heavy one, but I think he could work very well in say an Animar build, or have him leading an Animar style build where all your other creatures get major props. So I like him. I like his design. Fantastic card. Kind of certain little things I wish maybe were a little different, but that's just me. Anyway, so we had a ton of spoilers today. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about all these cards. Put them down below in the comment section. If you guys are enjoying the spoilers, tap the like button if you're new to the channel. Check in and subscribe. As always, Roxabox90 signing out. I'll see you guys next time.